The changing balance of power. Is America still the global leader? Introduction. The story of global leadership is, at its heart, a story of power, how nations gain it, sustain it, and lose it. For more than 7 decades, the United States of America has been recognized as the dominant global power. Its influence shaped international politics, economics, culture, and security after World War II. However, in the 21st century, the world appears to be shifting toward a more multipolar order, one where several countries hold significant power rather than a single dominant leader. The question, is America still the global leader, lies at the center of modern geopolitics. This discussion explores how global power is changing, the role of emerging powers like China and India, and the internal and external challenges facing the U.S. today. Historical background. America's rise to power. After World War II, much of Europe and Asia lay in ruins. The U.S., having avoided destruction at home, emerged as an economic and military superpower. 2 key developments defined this era. 1. The Bretton Woods System, 1944. The U.S. dollar became the world's reserve currency, linking global trade to the American economy. 2. The Marshall Plan, 1948. America's massive aid to rebuild Europe strengthened its alliances and cemented its moral leadership. Throughout the Cold War, the U.S. competed with the Soviet Union for ideological and strategic dominance. When the Soviet Union collapsed in 1991, the U.S. emerged as the world's sole superpower, ushering in what many scholars called the unipolar moment. The unipolar moment. America's global dominance, 1991 to 2008. From the early 1990s to the late 2000s, the U.S. enjoyed unmatched supremacy in every sphere. Military power. The U.S. military budget surpassed the next 10 nations combined. Economic influence. The American economy drove globalization through free trade, technology, and innovation. Cultural reach. Hollywood, Silicon Valley, and American universities became global icons. Political leadership. Through NATO, the UN, and the G7, America shaped global governance. Events like the Gulf War, 1991, and interventions in the Balkans showed that the U.S. could project force almost anywhere. The Internet revolution, largely led by U.S. companies like Microsoft, Google, and Apple, made American innovation central to global life. Yet, beneath this dominance, cracks were forming, economically, militarily, and morally. The turning point, 9/11 and the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan. The terrorist attacks on September 11, 2001, marked a psychological and strategic turning point. The U.S. launched the War on Terror, invading Afghanistan in 2001 and Iraq in 2003. While initially successful, these wars drained America's resources, divided its population, and damaged its reputation abroad. Key consequences included economic burden, over $8 trillion spent on wars; loss of moral authority. The Iraq War, based on disputed intelligence, eroded global trust. Rise of China and Russia. As the U.S. focused on the Middle East, competitors grew stronger. By the late 2000s, the global financial crisis, 2008, further undermined the image of American economic leadership. The world began to wonder, could another nation challenge U.S. supremacy? The rise of China. The new global challenger, China's economic rise is the most significant shift in global power since the end of the Cold War. Since its market reforms under Deng Xiaoping in 1978, China has transformed from a poor agrarian nation into the world's second-largest economy. Major signs of China's rise: economic power. China's GDP, measured by purchasing power parity, PPP, now exceeds that of the U.S. manufacturing hub. China is the factory of the world, controlling critical supply chains. Technological advancement. Companies like Huawei, BYD, and Tencent are challenging American tech giants. Military modernization. The People's Liberation Army, PLA, has rapidly advanced in cyber, naval, and space capabilities. Global influence. The Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, extends Chinese economic influence across Asia, Africa, and Europe. China presents not just an economic alternative, but an ideological challenge, an authoritarian model that contrasts with the U.S.'s democratic system. Economic shifts. Decline of the dollar's dominance. While the U.S. dollar remains the world's most used currency, its dominance is being questioned. China, Russia, and BRICS countries are promoting trade in local currencies. The BRICS Bank and Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, AIIB, challenge U.S.-led institutions like the IMF and World Bank. Many nations are diversifying their reserves away from the dollar due to American sanctions policies. Though no immediate replacement exists, this gradual diversification signals a shift in global economic confidence. Thank you.